How's it going, everybody? This is Craig Bush Rocks. Welcome to my channel. Well, today I'm going to talk about something that we were talking about during my live stream about underrated action movies and stuff like that. I'm thinking to myself about all the movies I could talk about, you know, misconceptions of a good action movie and things. When I go watch an action movie, sometimes I like to have a good popcorn flick where it has some cheesy action scenes in it and stuff like that. I love those kind of movies, and you got those serious action movies where it's just it's serious, man. I want to do all this action and stuff like that. Kind of like the Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But we're not gonna talk about that movie. But yeah, we get some underrated action movies. I pulled out one horror movie. So I'm kind of going off script with there. One horror movie that's underrated that just came out, and it still mind boggles me when I watch this movie. It's like this kind of it's based on a game. It's this kind of like goes in track with a certain game, Silent Hill 2, I believe it is. And it's like beat to beat with that game. I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, this got panned by critics and everything. It's like even my daughter says she didn't like the movie. But when I played it, I played through Silent Hill 2, the original one, and the remake and stuff like that. There's this Return to Silent Hill, and they did some different things in the game, but still it followed beat to beat when you watch the movie. The production value in the movie is pretty awesome. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think that was that bad. And the nurse scenes in there when the nurses got the knives and all, the scissors or knives, whatever it was, and getting ready to stab old boy there. I was like, James. But I'm gonna watch this one again so I can, get myself another thinking about it and stuff like that. But not really action. It's just kind of horror. But let's get on with my underrated action movies. I wanted to get this one out of the way because it's just kind of what. But all right, we're gonna start with one got blacklisted from the Hollywood for a lot of years, and then he starts coming up with movies. They weren't sure if it's gonna hit with him and stuff like that. He starred in The Matrix. You probably know what I'm talking about. So there's two movies right here. One took off like you wouldn't believe, and the other one's still considered underrated. We're gonna go with the first one, and that's John Wick. Now, when Keanu Reeves started making movies again, they had the new Matrix movie that he made. That could be considered underrated. I don't actually have a copy of the new Matrix movie in my collection. I should get it so I can complete my collection. But when John Wick came out, Hollywood and everybody just didn't have faith in Keanu Reeves. They weren't going to give it a chance. I believe critics probably review bombed this one. I'm going to just go on a limb saying they probably did it because it's Keanu Reeves. Because after all those years being blacklisted, because I guess we wouldn't want to be in Speed 2, that this was not going to be a good movie. Lo and behold, not that really. It didn't matter because I think 4 movies later in a ballerina whatever side project and stuff like that, yeah, this movie is pretty popular. Still considered an underrated movie, I think, still, for what it is. But Keanu Reeves has got his own band and stuff like that. He's going out on tour. I want to go see him, but he had to fight his way into Hollywood just to get relevant again, and he's just such a humble guy. I mean, holy cow. But yeah, John Wick. I was like, yeah, this would be considered underrated because they wouldn't give him a chance. But people going out in theaters, hey, let's watch this movie. I think it's pretty cool. It's an awesome movie. Trying to kill his dog and all that. That's not good. Or if they did. And the other one that came out around the same time, I think this came out a year earlier than this one, is 47 Ronin. This one's definitely underrated because this one still has not took off, and I guess it's not a really bad movie. A lot of people talk about it saying it's really not that bad, but just coming back. I think he did the Matrix, like I said, did the Matrix and maybe a couple movies. I don't know, but I just know about the Matrix and stuff like that. And 47 Ronin, a samurai movie. I've not watched this one yet myself. It was one of those movies I got off from Severn there, and when I was doing all the ripping. I still have not had a chance to watch this one. I'm definitely gonna watch it. See if it's really good. But people are talking about is this an underrated movie, and I could see why because he was blacklisted from Hollywood. He had to fight his way back up. It was weird because The Matrix came out. No, those were pretty popular. That came out after Speed too. So he's always been fighting his way. Keep him going. The first Matrix movies was good, and then the other ones were kind of like a dumpster fire, I guess. I watched all the Matrix movies. I enjoyed each one of them for what they are. But 47 Ronin, I guess, underrated. Good samurai flick. Here's one that I think underrated and people don't talk about. I think I watched this once, and I thought it was pretty sweet. It was like maybe last year or a year before I watched this one. I can't remember when this came out, but Lucy gets drugs put in her, and then she's got to go out and kill people and stuff like that. This is a good. This is what I'm talking about. Good popcorn flick. Lucy is one of those kind of movies. This one I think is probably going to be underrated because something people don't talk about, and it's a good movie. Just if you haven't had a chance to check it out, check it out. I'm going to probably rewatch this one, which is nice having my movies on my NAS over there. If I go to work or something, I can just pop a movie on and go play it. I might play a little bit of this one, check it out, and get a second review on it. But as it sits right now, to me, this would be considered an underrated movie. Good old action flick, man, going around. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, I think Marvel movies and stuff like that. Seems like they got that bad luck for actors that gets out of the Marvel movies and they try to make a movie and they don't do very well. Their movies end up being underrated. This is kind of one of them. But this one, I think, is 2000 something. I don't remember, but it's in the middle of her doing all the Marvel stuff like that. I think even Robert Downey Jr. has been having bad luck trying to make movies outside of Marvel. I can't think of anything that came out that was really relevant and good for him. Oh yeah, I could think of a couple, but not off the top of my head. I can't remember the names. But yeah, Lucy. Go check it out. It's still. If you notice, I'm going with more modern movies and stuff like that. I'm not going with the usual older movies that people talk about all the time. I'm talking about stuff that came out in the past 10, 15 years. In the 2000s and later, or something like that. But next one, I call it the stepchild in the whole movie franchise, and that's Stallone's Rambo from 2008. It did moderately well in the theaters and stuff like that, but when time comes, this one's kind of like the forgotten stepchild because Rambo Last Blood came out, and this one kind of like, okay, it's kind of been forgotten about. It's still, people talk about it, but it's not. People get confused. In other words, it's like you got Rambo, then you got Rambo Last Blood. If people are not familiar with the franchise, will think, okay, I'm confused. Which one's which? Rambo 5 and Rambo 4. Then you got the original Rambo trilogy. This one kind of steps in the middle right there, and people wouldn't think about it because this was kind of like the long-awaited sequel to the last one from the 80s and early 90s type Rambo's 2008's Rambo. But then the one that the last one that came out, I think just put this one to the underrated movie. You wouldn't think that when you talk about Rambo, but when you think about Rambo, what movies do you talk about? You're not talking about this one. Even Last Blood, for that matter, is still kind of like a underrated movie. People, when it comes to like sequels from old franchises, they don't hit as much as what they were in the early 80s, early 90s. Like Indiana Jones is like one of them. I was gonna dig that movie out, but I didn't think about it. But they just don't hit as well as what they used to be. As we're gonna get to another one like that. But Rambo, I think this one's kind of underrated. People just, okay, whatever. Give it a second watch. Try not to forget about it because it's there. The middle stepchild there. It's there. The next one got kind of panned because it didn't have Angelina Jolie in it. Ooh, I remember the criticism over this because she didn't wasn't as hot as Angelina Jolie, the chick in this one, Alicia Vikander. But this one to me is one of those awesome popcorn flicks. You just go eat some popcorn, go watch a cheesy action flick, and this is one of them, Tomb Raider, an action adventure type movie. This one right here, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. The story didn't hit that well. I didn't care about the story. I just wanted to watch a movie and eat some popcorn, drink some pop. I'm at the theaters. Yeah, this one is definitely underrated because this one got criticized by a lot of people. Even gamers out there kind of criticized this one. But if you look at the new Tomb Raider games that are out now, it's not like this one's not falling in line with those kind of Tomb Raider games. So it's not. It's still it's still a great movie. It's not Angelina Jolie type movies from back when she made the Tomb Raiders, but on its own, it's still a great flick. I don't see a big problem with it. It's fun to watch. Now the next one that got criticized because it didn't have Will Smith in it. This kind of fell to the wayside as a dumpster fire movie, but it's still not that bad of a movie if you're into like alien invasions. Okay, Will Smith got pretty much died in the whatever in the some kind of backflash scene. I don't know, but this movie I still had fun with this movie. I watched this one 3 times now, and I enjoyed this movie. And that's Independence Day Resurgence. Yeah. When you go ask people how many what Independence Day people watch, they always talk about watching the first one, and a lot of people don't realize there was a sequel to it, Resurgence, and people just forgot about it, and it went to the wayside. But the people that do remember, it's like, I don't like it because they didn't have Will Smith in it. Um, so what if it didn't have Will Smith in it? Who gives a big whoop-de-doo? So it's still a great movie. It's still fun to watch. The aliens came back to go kick some butt, and we had to go kick their butt. And old boy did another speech. Bill Paxton, I think his name is, did another big old speech again, which is fun. Cheesy. Like I said, cheesy flicks are fun to watch. I don't take action movies seriously. You know, they are what they are. You got horror movies. They got B-rated horror movies that are fun to watch. But when it comes to action movies, yeah, they get put on to a different kind of pedestal, I guess, because it didn't do well in the box office, blah 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 blah. It didn't, people panned it, and it gets put off to the wayside. This is a great movie. I have fun with this one when I watch it. But yeah, like I said, these modern movies, they're not as great as some of the older ones, no, but they're still not that bad. But these little sequels from legacy movies, man, they get a hard rap, man. They get crapped on all over the place. On the next one, everybody panned the crap out of it. It's a video game movie, and I watched this one a couple of times. I got the Steelbook edition, and I got this one right here. This one I got from Sir Vern in his collection. My Steelbook is the one I bought. It's sitting in a collection, but I pulled this one out. But Warcraft. This was a fun movie to watch too when I went to the theater, and this one got panned by gamers and critics, and it's the dumpster fire. Oh my God, it's a great movie. Sometimes it's better than World of Warcraft in ways right now from recently. Oops, did I say that? Where they streamlined World of Warcraft and made it simpler, so people like me can play the game. Cause I'm an old fuddy-duddy. But Warcraft is it's still a great movie. I enjoyed it. I watched it. It's underrated like you would not believe. There's some people that do like it. I wouldn't say this is a total dumpster fire because it goes past the underrated part, and the people just pan this one for just being a terrible movie. I was like, nah, it's still a great movie. Just look at it as a fact. If it's not a war, just take the Warcraft off from it and just watch it as a cheesy action flick. You got yourself a great movie to watch. Get some friends. Find something that you can have a beer drinking game with this movie, where everybody says something, and you can slam a cold one. I'm just saying, it's not that bad. It's okay. It's definitely underrated. The last movie I'm going to talk about, because I could pull out a bunch of movies and talk about they got panned and didn't do well in sales. Most action movies just don't tend to do well in theaters. horror movies are doing a little bit better than action. Um, when you when it comes to it, so it's a hit and miss. This is kind of like an action horror game movie. So yeah, it's got horror elements, but it's still an action game, kind of like Silent Hill. I just realized I put this in there. This one right here, yeah, the only criticism I have with this one, they made Leon a wimpy little whiny person in the movie, but the movie overall is actually not that bad. That's Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. It's still a great movie. It's just they did one of the characters wrong. So what? It's still a fun. It's still got some action in it. It's still an action horror film, and yeah, kind of like Resident Evil 6. People are starting to say that was kind of underrated. As like Resident Evil 6. I don't know if that one's underrated for a game. Maybe. I just that game was just bad all around. I think I was like I have to go play through Resident Evil 6, but this movie right here, being a current Resident Evil, live action Resident Evil movie, is not that bad. I mean, there's tons of Resident Evil movies out there. Most of those Resident Evil movies are all underrated for being cheesy popcorn flicks. You don't when it comes to like video game movies like these are just cheesy movies that you can just go have fun with. Warcraft, go have fun watching it. Resident Evil, go have fun watching it. Take the nostalgia glasses off and look at it as a just a current version of a movie that for someone else that made it. Don't look at it as a Resident Evil game. Look at it as just a zombie game. Not Resident Evil game. Look at it as a zombie movie or something like that. Just look past all the nostalgia part of it and look at it as a movie that you can have fun watching. To me that would be underrated. Um, One of the comments says like Face Off with John Travolta and all that. They're making a Face Off sequel, I heard. That would be underrated. That was one of those classic films. But yeah, it's like I can talk about a bunch of movies. Like a second opinion that to me would be considered underrated, even to myself that would be underrated. Um, but I always type in was Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City underrated, and always people yeah, this is the reason why it's underrated. But I just go by what I remember, what people talk about, and how it gets panned, and especially Leon being treated unfairly in the movie and stuff like that. But still a good movie to watch. Same thing with that Tomb Raider. To me, that would be underrated. Right there. It could be a cult classic later on down the road. I couldn't believe that, like John Wick being underrated. But when you think about it, because he was blacklisted from the Hollywood, yeah, he's done the Matrix movies and stuff. Those are kind of like an anomaly in his little career. But when you think about all in all, he he had a tough time in Hollywood. And oh man, he had bad luck too. I think he had a motorcycle accident there, but yeah, Keanu Reeves. I like Keanu Reeves. I'm hoping he. One movie I want to pick up which is that's underrated is the one I just put out. The one that he's an angel. I don't remember the name of it. So yeah, it tells you something right there. But I'm even gonna watch that movie. Probably talk about that sometime. But when it comes to like today's movies, today, Hollywood has a hard time coming out with a big hit. So all the movies that come out, you do get these movies that gets forgotten about. You know, good example is that Super Mario movie that came out. It's getting panned by critics and everything else. You know, the other Mario movie was great. Is that one gonna be underrated? Eventually, 10 years down the road, Mario movie. But Hollywood's having a tough time coming out with originality and stuff too. So yeah, these legacy sequels are just, if you want to call it that, kind of like a legacy sequel, but even though it ain't, it's kind of like a remake. Um, Independence Day, Tomb Raider, sort of. Rambo. What else we got? That Silent Hill. Yeah, making a sequel is a tough business, and When you take a second look at some of these sequels, they're not that bad movies. They're pretty good. You got to give it a second chance, especially Warcraft. This one got crapped on bad, and I enjoyed it. It's a great movie. It's a great animated type movie. It's fun to watch. Lucy, I'm definitely gonna watch again because that was a great movie. And 47 Ronin, I definitely gotta watch. All right, but those are just some of the movies that could be underrated. Some of them might be, yeah. You don't know. Did you watch them and stuff like that? Just any of these movies, and I might do a part two on some of these underrated movies. I might go with like the '90s generation or something. But want me to do a horror underrated movie? Geez, that's just about almost every single one of them. There's a few of them that been making good money and stuff like that because people are striving for horror movies, but there is some underrated horror movies that you wouldn't believe. But we got B-rated movies and stuff like that, like the Winnie the Pooh horror movies. The Mickey Mouse one, I think that they got one of those out there. Yep, underrated. So those are some underrated action horror, action movies, action adventure, but they're all action to me, in my opinion, except for Silent Hill. That's just weird that didn't hit. That still mind boggles me because that kind of goes beat to beat with the game almost. There's a couple scenes I cut out, but pretty much it's about what Silent Hill 2 is pretty much. So, but yeah. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like, give me a thumbs down. Comment down below what are some of those underrated films that was good that didn't come out. What are some movies that need a second chance, second look? Kind of like underrated second look. This movie's actually pretty good. Let me know in the comments below what's some good ones that you can think of. I don't want to hear no 80 flicks. I'm tired of hearing about underrated 80 movies because I hear all the time. I want to hear some modern movies, maybe late 90s, 2000s and stuff like that. Give me some of those. What do you think is underrated? And make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll check y'all in the next video. Bye. Fun times, everybody.